Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So today's video is going to be a little different from my usual videos as I take you through a slow day in my life where I have absolutely nothing going on and nothing planned. Pretty much every morning I take my dog out for her morning walk, and honestly it's a great start to the day to just get outside, get some exercise, even when I don't feel like going outside. I'm so grateful to have her because she forces me to actually get up off my butt. And yes, I do carry treats with me during these walks. After the walk, I did have some coffee and a little breakfast before I got into crafting. I have a friend who is recovering from surgery, and I thought it would be nice if I could make her a handmade card just to let her know that I'm thinking of her. We don't live in the same state, unfortunately, so I will be, or actually have already mailed this card over to her. And I love doing projects like these because it's such a wonderful creative outlet, and I love doing these types of creative things. I have these rhinestone sticker packets. I'm obsessed with them. I got them from Amazon. They come in all kinds of different colors. I'm using the orange set for her card, and it's really cool because they come in rows, so you don't have to individually stick each piece of rhinestone onto whatever it is that you're decorating, which is very convenient. And then I did print out 2 photos from Walmart to include on the card. Super affordable to print out photos at Walmart. I think they start at 16 cents a print. So yeah, as you can see, the marker kind of bleeds through the paper. So that's why I am gluing on an extra sheet of paper over the front of the card because, well, I don't want that to be seen. I don't know, you know what I mean, you see what I'm doing. And then I have these wonderful butterfly stickers that I wanted to use up, so I decided to add those on there. And then I pre-planned what I was going to write. I wrote it on a Post-it note, which you can see is stuck on the desk there. And that really helps me to ensure that I don't make any mistakes while I'm writing in the card. If I don't pre-plan what I'm going to write, then I usually end up with some kind of spelling or grammatical error or something like that. So I just wrote a draft copy of the message that I'm sending to her in the card on that Post-it note right there. I also decided to make her a bracelet because I have this bracelet making kit that I got on Amazon, and once again, I absolutely love doing stuff like this. And this kit came with so many cute beads, and it came with the plastic rope, and I'm just laying out what beads I'm going to use, and so I know what my bracelet is going to look like. And then I also bought these adorable charms from Hobby Lobby because for me, I just think a bracelet with some cute charms is a must. And then as you can see here, I'm just putting everything onto that plastic rope. The kicker is I ended up having to redo this whole bracelet because I had put a few too many beads on there. So what happened was once I, tied the bracelet and completed the whole thing, it was so big, it was drooping off of my wrist. I ended up having to take a few of the beads out so that the bracelet would be a little smaller and the sizing would just be a little bit better and actually fit someone's wrist. And so that's what I ended up doing. It was no big deal at the end of the day, but yeah, after doing all of this, I did have to restart and take some beads off and then do the bracelet all over again. But it turned out super cute. You're about to see the final product here. So as you can see, we got the heart charm, and then the other charm says never never give up, and then the bracelet itself says badass with a good ass. It's something that my friend shared on her Facebook, and I thought it was funny. And yeah, for dinner, I decided to make the viral Tini mac and cheese recipe, so here I am boiling the pasta. I decided to half the recipe amount since I'm only feeding 2 people, so I only boiled half a pound of pasta and then did half of the amount of cheese that she recommends in her original recipe. Now, this is the first time that I've ever used this rotary cheese grater, and I 10 out of 10 recommend. It took me 5 minutes to grate all of this cheese, actually a little under 5 minutes, I think. And With a handheld cheese grater, it would have taken me forever and my arm would have been so sore by the end of it. But with this rotary one, it was perfect. I was so grateful to have this for the recipe. I then mixed the cheese all together and split it in half because part of it will go in the actual cheese sauce and part of it will go on top of the mac and cheese. And then I'm making my seasoning mixture here: salt, pepper, garlic powder, and paprika, which is what Tini did. My pasta is now finished boiling. I did boil it for about 8 minutes. Okay, so this is where mistakes were made because since I said earlier I was halving the recipe amount, for the roux, I thought I would do the same thing. The original recipe says 3 tablespoons of butter, but I did 1.5 tablespoons of butter. And then here I am pouring in half of the seasoning mixture, which is totally fine. And then for the flour, in the original recipe, it says 3 tablespoons of flour. But once again, since I was halving everything, I did 1.5 tablespoons of flour. And the roux turned out really dry and crumbly, just like this. So I ended up adding in way more butter anyway, just to get that paste-like consistency that you're looking for in a roux. That's apparently what we want. And so yeah, I ended up adding more butter in. So I think even if you're halving the amount of cheese and pasta for the roux, just like follow her recipe. Do the full 3 tablespoons of butter and the 3 tablespoons of flour, because from my understanding and just watching her make the mac and cheese, you really want this like kind of paste like consistency, not like dry and crumbly. And then same thing with the evaporated milk. The original recipe called for a whole can of evaporated milk, and I was like, oh, I'll probably just end up using half the can. No, I ended up basically using the whole can of evaporated milk because like I said, I was looking at the consistency and I was like, this is not right. So that's what I'm doing here. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had to whisk the sauce to get like all the clumps and lumps out of the cheese sauce, and I didn't have a silicone whisk, so I had to use this metal whisk. I was internally screaming inside because this is a brand new non-stick pan, and here I am using a metal whisk, so I tried to use that as little as possible because I just couldn't take it anymore. And then yeah, I switched back, as you can see, to my silicone spatula. And then I'm adding in some mustard. Her recipe calls for Dijon mustard. I didn't have that. I only had yellow mustard, so I just used that. Whatever. It was good still. Okay, and this is the other part here with the sauce. Her recipe calls for 2 cups of heavy cream. I thought, oh, I'll only need a cup of heavy cream since I'm halving everything. No, I still ended up adding in more heavy cream later on because I thought the consistency of the sauce was way too thick and I wanted it to be a little bit more creamy and just runny, not too runny, but I don't know, yeah, like not as thick basically. And so here I am adding a little bit of the heavy cream at a time. This is 1 cup that I'm holding, and then like I said, you'll see me add some more heavy cream later in order to get the consistency that I was looking for. And I think that's just what cooking is. Sometimes you have to eyeball it a little bit and see if things are looking okay or not. And then obviously here I am adding in the cheese a little bit at a time. And so you add some cheese, you let it melt all the way through, then you add some more cheese, and you just kind of keep repeating this over and over again until you use up all of the cheese. And you'll see as well in a little bit that I do add more heavy cream because I thought it was looking a little bit too thick for my personal liking. Here I am adding in all of the pasta into the wonderful, delicious cheese sauce. And I was really happy about this because I thought the amount of sauce that I had was perfect to the amount of pasta that I cooked. It was a perfect pasta to sauce ratio in my opinion. And I did add in the other half of the seasoning mixture. I just don't know if I filmed that, but I did add that in. And yeah, I'm so happy that it turned out like this because I was worried there for a second when I was looking at the roux and everything. I was like, ugh. And then as you can see here, I am adding in half the pasta mixture into the pan, and then taking the remaining cheese that I have, adding half of that amount of cheese into the baking dish so that we have a nice little layered situation going on. Then I added the rest of the pasta mixture and the rest of the cheese so that we get that lovely, beautiful, crusty cheese crust. You know what I mean. And this is the final product. It was so delicious.